Do y'all remember when the lavaliers used to be this big? They'd be like this, and they had a neck strap mat, and it would come around like this.
Am I in the frame? Am I seriously okay here?
Yeah,
okay.
We're actually pretty framed up.
Yeah, you welcome.
Well, okay,
I got it.
great.
It's 24 millimeter. Don't worry about it.
All right.
You're good. I watched the show. It's a South Korean show. It's a bodybuilding show. 100 physical 100.
Yeah.
I was thinking critical 100 for some reason. No, it's not that. It's physical 100. And all of the people in it had these necklaces on that had these fuzzy on it, and I was like, why are they wearing all these necklaces? I'm like, oh, that's their microphones, because they're all shirtless.
Yeah,
they have to have a microphone system of some sort, and I was like, that makes so much sense.
All the reality shows are doing it.
This is it now.
I actually noticed, was it in a recent, I think it was some content you showed me from Justin Porter. He used the little necklace thing. I said, my dude has been doing some research.
I've been talking about his stuff, and he is, I'll put it this way, homeboy is watching. And for those of you who don't know, Justin Porter, one of the most talented wedding videographers out there, who's just killing it right now.
Unique.
He is
so good.
Watching a lot of that reality TV, and he is saying, how do I emulate this?
Yeah, so much respect for that. So much, because everyone else is kind of just recycling like the same ideas. It was so refreshing to see someone just do something else where it's like, oh, what would a wedding film look like in this format? And it's actually really compelling and sweet, and the storytelling is great, and it actually feels like a true documentary. I know all of us say we do documentaries, but
no, he's doing the real.
I highly respect what he's doing. I have a different philosophy. Let's be clear. I would never do it, but I just really
I love that it's
respect
being
that.
done though, because he's pushing the industry in a way that nobody else is doing it.
Yeah,
not any of us. It's
pretty
amazing.
incomparable. Not pretty. It is incomparable. No one else is doing that. Anyway, so shout out, Justin. We haven't met yet, but I see what you're doing. It's dope.
I do feel like not all of my conversations with other wedding filmmakers, but a decent portion of them include a sentence where I'm like, have you heard of Justin Porter? Have you talked to him? Do you know who he is? And I feel like every year, maybe every 2 years, I discover a wedding filmmaker, and I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah.
And this is who I talk about with all the other wedding filmmakers.
Yeah.
And for a while it was Bottle Brush, and I was like, they're just doing stuff. This is insane. I was like, you watch Bottle Brush films? They're crazy.
Yeah.
And now it's Justin Porter. My goodness.
Yeah, because it's so out there, and to the point of even Bottle Brush, their stuff continues to be impressive because they're just unapologetically doing their thing. And that's exactly what I see in Justin's work. He is just unapologetically doing his thing and what he finds interesting and what he's passionate about. And to be honest, when I was first introduced to him, I was like, what? He carrying 15 mics on it? I was like, nah, I'm not doing nothing else. And if anybody would do it, I feel like it would be Kaleb and I, because we're so comfortable with audio in that regard and live events. And I heard I was like, that's intrusive. I had all my opinions. And then I saw the product and his approach, and I was like, well, if you're going to do it, that's how you do it.
Yeah. Next
honestly.
level. And I feel like that's got to be scary too, man.
Oh yeah.
Anything's scary if you're the pioneer of it, right? Mm-hmm. He's the pioneer of it in the wedding film industry, because I don't know anybody else that's doing it like that.
Yeah.
Not to his quality.
No, definitely not. Anyway.
But I will say, having filmed a wedding with him, which I don't know if the BTS is going to be out when this podcast goes live. I'm betting not. But you'll get a BTS eventually. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Seeing him work, he spent over an hour just miking people.
Yeah.
And these are all things I'm like, I would be out doing all these other shots and trying to do this stuff. I dedicate 5 minutes of the wedding day to miking people. That's it. I'm like, next thing. And he's like, this is a part of the process.
Yeah, of course.
Here we go.
Yeah.
So interesting to see. So fascinating.
I can't wait to see that BTS. It's going to be good whenever it comes out.
Eventually, please be patient. It's a work in progress.
Yeah. Speaking of, now that we finish this Justin Porter love fest.
The old Justin Porter love fest.
What's new?
The whole intro of this is just 5 minutes of there's a Justin Porter section. Moving on to the rest. Here we are.
I may need to break. This baby's kicking my bladder.
That's fine.
I'm
That's
sorry.
fine.
I was
Me and
keeping it,
Caleb
and then I
can keep it going. This is actually better if it just continues here. Elaine disappears. She reappears. If you're missing out on the video podcast, which I highly recommend watching, she just had to extricate herself from this very deep, very cushy couch. And it was a struggle, a trial, a tribulation.
It's a struggle for me to get out of this couch. So.
I'm in this thing. Like I tried to shift over and I'm like, I'm here now. Okay, this is where I live. This is my home, this couch, which is fine. It's very comfy.
Very comfy. I mean, it is quite nice.
I'll take it.
What can we talk about in the meantime?
There are so many topics. I can just grab one if you want. We can just go with that and all.
Yeah, go for it.
By all means. In that case,
we can talk about. Okay, this is a funny story though. Like dress for a wedding.
yes.
Like you came out and hung out with us, and you hadn't worn that suit in how long?
I had not. For context, you were filming a luxury wedding.
Yes.
And the day before I left to go film said wedding with you, to film a behind the scenes with you. Spoiler alert, there's also going to be BTS for KEJ Productions. I texted you literally like the night before, I think, and I was saying, hey, what are you wearing? What are y'all wearing to this wedding? And you're saying, oh yeah, black tie, like cocktail dress, like I'll be in a black tux. And I was like, oh no. Because I have built my life. Like my entire life has been built around not having to dress up for things. Not too much anyways. And that comes from me going to a private Christian school for 13 years of my life.
Had to.
And after being forced to wear khakis and polos for 13 years, you don't want to do that anymore. And so I wanted to get out of that. And the only time I've owned a suit was whenever I was in grad school in college, because I had to go talk to different companies and they're like, you have to have a suit to do that. So I went to Brooks Brothers and like bought a $400 suit, and that was the suit that I had. Had not worn that suit since 2011.
And how did we find that out?
We found that out when you said, oh, it's black tie. And I said, oh no. And Rachel said, I think your suit's in the closet, still in its plastic garment bag that has not been opened since. And for an idea of the truth of that, during the wedding, I reached into my pocket and I found my name tag from grad school sitting in one of the pockets. And I'm like, oh, yep, definitely haven't worn this. I'm like, what's this bulky thing? Oh, my name tag that I could pop on my. Anybody wants to know who I am here at this wedding?
Oh my god!
The funny thing is, whenever you texted me, like, we go through this almost every wedding that we go to.
Not almost every wedding, because Caleb, yeah.
It's hard, man. It's hard making sure that you're not a distraction. Mm-hmm. And like, also the weddings that we're showing up to, not many people look like us. And so like, we don't want to like be a sore thumb, you know?
For those on the audio version of the podcast.
Oh yeah. That
Kaleb and Elaine are of the minority persuasion.
We are people of color, Black and Mexican. So yeah, you need to show up and represent.
It's one thing that we just can't miss on.
Even though Elaine does, I would like to point out that Elaine does say that Caleb needs to tan more, which is.
I mean, we moved to Colorado, and I was like, wow.
The winter didn't treat me well.
I have not seen this shade on you ever. Like, it's been a long winter, huh?
Super long.
Your face is looking
Who
like
did I
your
marry?
thighs, bro. Oh man.
Yes.
But yeah, we like to blend in as much as we can, you know what I'm saying? And so I always check Caleb's outfits for the wedding day.
It's hard either way. And I think it's hard for a lot of people. A lot of people I've talked to that are having to show up to those types of weddings.
Well, here's the deal. I also think you have a personality very similar to Matt, where it's like you like to be casual. You like to be like very much feel okay in your own skin. Not that you don't when you dress up, but sometimes you just need a little help. Now, you want to hear something funny, Matt?
Yes, I do.
So coming to this retreat, I I told Caleb, I was like, yo, like, make sure you pack at least like one nice shirt, because we're meeting some executives from Music Bed. I don't know what the dress code's gonna be for this dinner and whatnot. And Caleb's like, what? Like, we're literally walking out the door. I'm like, do you have like a collared shirt or something you can throw on with like some dark jeans? And he's like, no, I just like have, and I'm like, please just pack something. He's like, all I need to do is look better than Matt Johnson, because you know he's not right.
I'm not even offended. It is 1,000% true. Yes. And for context of the level that I was coming from, before we left, I had a discussion with Rachel saying, do I need to bring jeans or can I wear sweatpants the whole time? To which she thought about it and said, maybe bring a pair of jeans if you have to look a little nicer. And then this morning, whenever we went to the Music Bed HQ, I said, do you think I need those jeans or could I pull off the black sweatpants? And she looked at me and was like, I think the black sweatpants are fine. And here I am.
Dude, you're winning, man, because everybody expects it from you. Like, I want to see you comfortable.
Now it's on brand.
I'm all about comfort. And even for weddings, like, I feel like y'all dealt with this more whenever you were in Florida, whenever you dealt with the heat and humidity. So you're actively choosing outfits that you're going to wear on a wedding day that you can move and live in all day with that humidity. So
like my rehearsal dinner jacket, it's a blue jacket. I'm actually wearing it this week, but it's a blazer, but it's for sweater, like it's a sweater jacket. And the reason I got it, because it's really light and breathy, and I'm not wearing a sweater under it. You know, I got plenty of stuff under it. So I'm like, it's so nice.
I got my own insulation here.
I'm covered in insulation.
Very
Been
warm.
working on it for 35 years.
Oh my gosh.
But it's funny because I've bought dry fit shirts that are breathable and stretchy, dry fit pants. I buy the Nike golf pants, breathable underwear, breathable socks. Like every single thing that I can wear that's breathable, that's what I got on.
Oh, yeah.
I have a thing about dry fit shirts, but I'm going to let you live, Matt. You came correct at our wedding, so that's all I cared
And that was one of
about.
the dry fit shirts. Thank you.
It was a dry fit?
Yes,
underneath
ma'am.
your suit?
Not a sponsor. Mizzen and Maine. Incredible.
Well, I'll be.
Super breathable, super stretchy, and you just wad it up and throw it in your suitcase for a wedding. You don't have to like deal with any sort of ironing or anything. You can't iron it. It's super stretchy.
Wow.
Life changing. Like I would just wear those. Like I'm not a dress person, like a dressy person, but I would wear those just around the house. Like they're that comfortable.
Oh, I'll have to check that out. You look sharp, man.
Highly recommend it. They're not cheap. They're like $100+ a shirt, but wow.
Yeah, that's what I'm expecting. I mean, even you go into like my next suit, it's got to be something that's washable and lighter and breathable and stretchier.
You gotta get that stretchier, baby. Gotta get it.
You know, whenever you're doing those hard moves with the legs,
Those
you gotta
deep
have
gimbal
some
squats.
Oh, gosh.
deep cut.
I saw you doing some deep stuff last night in the kitchen with the music going.
Yeah, I'm feeling that.
You were very low. I was like, wow, he's more flexible than I thought at that age.
I am very stretchy.
And he still has the knees, which I'm jealous of. But, you know, Caleb is younger than me by
They're
a couple
going
years.
out, but
It is really funny because I don't want to be like the gym person, but like I do go to a gym now because I have to because I'm getting
Tell
old.
him what kind of gym.
No, I don't like.
No.
You can't
This
go
is what
here
this
without-
podcast is about.
Because I turned to Rachel. I was like, really? Matt's doing
CrossFit.
Oh, that just tickles me.
Yes, but I try not to lead with it because CrossFit is like being vegan. People
Yeah,
expect you to be like, oh, CrossFit. Oh, you're vegan? Like they expect you to do it. So I don't want to live.
You hate living?
What's wrong with you? Like I don't want to lead with that.
Yeah, I understand. I had to pull it out of you. Sorry,
Thank you.
bro.
Thank you. But the best part is that one of my good friends that I go to the gym with that really got me back into going to the gym, he has a lot of football injuries from high school and college. And so he don't work so good in the knees and in the shoulders sometimes. And he gets so jealous of me because I can do these, and I'm not saying my form is perfect in any way, but I can do workout movements and not be in pain while doing them as much. And he's like, stupid lack of injuries. And I'm like, yeah, that's what you get for playing golf in high school. Like I didn't have to deal with any of that. Helps out.
Well, that, and you can also fit into suits from 2011.
I'm getting my water.
Yeah, do it. While you're getting your water, actually, somebody today at Music Bed headquarters said, "Man, I got to see Skinny Matt today."
No.
I promise you.
No.
Yeah.
People keep talking. Okay, that's the other thing. People keep talking about my weight. And people I even saw like 6 months ago, they're now like, you lose weight? You look thinner. And I'm like, I've weighed myself. I actually weigh more than I ever have before.
It's
Thank
muscle, you know what they say.
But it's muscle.
That must be hard, like in influencer life. That's one thing.
What, being fat?
No. I should have known.
You walked into that one. You walked directly into that one.
No, it's more so like just people recognizing you, and B, just like having an opinion on your look.
Yeah. And thankfully, a lot of the people that did comment, I say a lot of them, like there's been like 5 people, but it's still more than I ever have gotten before. And it's a lot of people that are, hey, don't take this the wrong way, man, but like, you look good. Did you lose weight? To which I have to be like, actually, no, but then I have to.
But I'm doing CrossFit.
But doing CrossFit. Like I don't want to, so I don't lead with that. But the other thing that helped was I finally started going to a hair salon after having Rachel cut my hair for 7 years. You mean a barber? No, it's like a men's hair salon. Like a
right. Like yeah, we've had this conversation where I made fun of you for going to a salon.
Yeah, it's nice. They're really friendly there, and I learn all the latest relationship gossip, and they are very nice. It's great. But they have this royalty for a king offering, which I have not paid for yet or tried, but they'll wax your nose hairs. They'll do the whole 9 yards. And I'm like, wow, I might need that at some point. Not yet.
You know that's a thing.
I mean, I didn't know until I read their website, and they're like, do you want this? We'll stick that up there and pull those nose hairs out. And I was like, I'm terrified of that. Actually, I don't want to do that.
My barber always says, I'm just going to go ahead and knock down these eyebrows for you.
Hey, we can read that back. Yeah. Mine does not even say anything. She just gets that comb up there and lays it on there, and it's like, I'm like, thank you. I probably needed that, didn't I?
Yeah, we definitely do.
But after having Rachel cut my hair for 7 years and then moving down near my parents because we had kids, and having my mom transition to cutting my hair just like she did when I was a boy, which is great and free. There was a point where she'd always be like, you need to deal with that beard. It's a little long. And I was like, whatever, Mom. But after part of like me taking care of myself, I'm like, okay, let's go to the barber. And she looked at
the salon.
The salon, yes. And she looked at it and she's like, wow, you need a lot of work.
Oh, no.
And
that's messed up.
I was like, my life is in your hands. That's fine. Okay. And so she was like, we're going up here, going up to here. And I was like, all right, I trust you. Yeah, let's do it. Cool. So she snipped it.
Did it hurt? Like, not like physically, but like
there was like what have I done? Like it was like 4 inches of beard. I feel like it was a lot. And I look at old videos and pictures, and the problem is that I'd recorded a lot of videos that were older, and so I was editing videos. I'm like, man, my beard was so much longer. Oh no. But I was also like, okay, let's give it time. Everything you got to give it time.
I mean, it's gonna look like it already looks great. But I'm saying, like, if you were to get it back to the length that you did,
it'll be nuts.
It's gonna be
it was
ridiculous.
Pretty scraggly.
Yeah.
We met Matt Johnson.
Well, like at the bottom, he's looking like that's that Pirates of the Caribbean.
I think the first photo,
Pirates of the Caribbean.
The first photo we have with Matt and Rachel at Venture, like years ago, it's like your beard is just like laying on Caleb's. Like it's a very intimate photo. Like
yes.
The beard.
And we haven't not been intimate ever since.
There we go. Still here. Doing it. And I remember she trims it, and then she was also telling me, you need to trim your beard up higher on your cheeks, because I had it down like really low, down by like my bottom of my lip. And she's like, you got to bring it up higher. You got to cut it, like let it grow up higher.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, because your face is like, you got those round, Rachel calls them Santa cheeks. We got to trim it up higher. So started doing that, and suddenly I was like, people are like, wow, you look like your face looks less round, and like, oh, have you lost weight? And I'm like, I think it's because the beard is covering up my face roundness now.
Oh, dude, it's the best trick in the book.
I had no clue. Nobody told me any of this. I was living my life, and so now it's like, wow, it's less. Okay, so we're covering up we're hiding some of the shame, as it were. It's all
for sure
down there, And that's been pretty eye-opening, changing. Like, wow, okay, my face looks different. Interesting. The only issue that I really deal with otherwise, because doing YouTube videos, people only see me on camera, is I film with a 24 millimeter lens, and I sit pretty darn close to it. So I look a little stretchy. I look a little wider, and then people see me in person. They're like, oh, you don't look as wide. Yes.
Right.
I don't think I was surprised when we met you in person.
Well, I was also like right in front of your face, so you saw me wide.
This is true. Yeah, this is true. But like in personality, persona, energy, like, and like all of the above, you know, you meet some people that you've been like watching on screen for years, and then you meet them in person and you're like, oh, you're way taller than or, you know, just weird things like that. Like, I won't put anybody on blast, but yeah, I've never had that feeling with Matt or Rachel.
Mm-hmm. See, I get people telling me all the time, like, you're shorter than I thought you would be. And I'm like, that's because I'm sitting down in a chair when I'm talking and nobody knows.
Proper framing.
If you were tall, dude, honestly, if I had met you in person and you were like 6 feet tall, I would have been thrown. I don't know why. It would have been like, what is going on?
Kindly leave.
Yeah. Maybe it's, I don't know. Maybe it's the Santa Claus reference. Rachel has some, like, maybe, you know, you imagine Santa Claus is like average height and fluffy cheeks and kind and talks and jolly. And I was like, yeah, it's kind of like Matt Johnson.
Well, thank you. Average and jolly. That's what we're going for here. I was talking to Andrew and Grace, and like, it's like Zach Galifianakis. I'm like, perfect, thank you. Like, that's it. I like him a lot, so I'm not upset about that. I like that reference.
Dude. He seems like a good dude.
Like, I mean, that's a hard compliment.
Yeah, I was pretty like, okay, thank you. Also, like, do I look like it's just? Does he look okay? Okay, or just like personality wise, what are we going for here? Okay, it's fine. It's fine.
Oh, funny.
It's been all about me and my.
I mean, I'm just sitting over here pregnant. That's really it.
I mean, you can talk about how you just filmed your last wedding. Like, talk about that. Like,
forever.
I mean, not forever.
Until our baby comes. Yeah. But like, would you go this far again if we were to have another baby? Not that we're planning on having another
like
baby.
Not that we're planning. Plans. Good gracious. I feel like that. You know.
Whoa.
Oh, this house does.
Automatic. This house's lights turn on automatically. Yeah, Caleb, fix that. Get these off. What is happening here? Podcast is falling apart. Keep going, Elaine.
I do feel like that, you know, like that time clicks down the more pregnancies you have. I don't know. My first pregnancy, I just thought I was Superwoman, and I was filming till like 36 weeks in Aspen. Filming till 36 weeks in Aspen, and I remember saying
at altitude too.
At altitude,
y'all were not
up there.
Y'all
so
were not
it was like
in Colorado yet at that point, were you?
No, we didn't. Or we had just moved there because
you still weren't acclimated.
But no. I was not acclimated, and it was like in Aspen and then a drive up, if I remember. So the elevation was at least like 10,000 feet.
Yeah,
would you say
it was pretty rough for even? You know, Jordan and I, whenever we were filming.
And I look back at those pictures and I'm just like, what were you doing? Like, I was truly only there for the client.
Oh, wait, hold on. Can I bump in real quick?
And go for it.
So one of my fondest memories of that wedding was like, we're filming and it's a first look, and it's the most beautiful first look you will ever see in your entire life. And I'm just like on the gimbal, and Jordan's doing this thing, and I look over at Elaine, and she's like sitting on the ground with this camera, and she's just like
filming below, right
like
there.
From a rock.
Honestly, I was like sitting crisscross applesauce, like with just the camera.
Yeah, so
like
funny,
I'm not putting any energy into standing, squatting. Like I'm either on the ground or in a car somewhere with some canned oxygen. But yeah, this time around I stopped at 29 weeks, and I feel like the only reason I even filmed that wedding and traveled for it is because it was like a legacy client. You know, it's like their baby sister was getting married, and then it was like the actual sister and the brother-in-law that gifted like our services to, I mean, and that client, like the previous client, is pregnant within like 1 week of me. So like literally, like when we saw them, like tears like flowed. Like it was just such a great reunion seeing them together. So it was absolutely worth it, like going through the physical toll, not to mention coming from Colorado down to below sea level in New Orleans was like, I think at one point you said I was even running.
Yes,
I was like, what?
I have footage of you sprinting, like
That's crazy
like
to me.
like a heavy jog, and it's like wet outside. And I'm like, so I ain't gonna slip, and you just booked it past me, and I was like, she's moving that baby bump. Like, wow, she's going.
It was full on bump too.
I felt really good. Like literally I got off the plane and I was like, wow, this is what oxygen feels like. I honestly forgot. But yeah, it's interesting. So like I shared that on our social media, and I actually had a lot of like filmmakers that I didn't know were pregnant share that news with me. It was really sweet. So had a few conversations. They were like, I don't know when to start. It's like, first of all, ask your doctor. Second, like honor your experience, your body, like all those things, and really like gauge like, you know, is this good for me? Because I can tell you right now, like 30 weeks, I think today. And I've literally done nothing on this retreat, but like sit like this with a blanket, have a few conversations, do a tour of the house. I mean, and I'm just tapped out, exhausted. Like I cannot imagine like going into a wedding after this, let alone at 36 weeks, which is
In elevator.
like, do I sound out of breath now? I feel like I'm breathing really hard into this mic now. So
No, it's interesting. And from my perspective, I would say, as soon as you are able to stop,
I mean,
stop.
yeah,
Because it not only in like, not that it was like taxing to the weekend, because during this time we also would bring a third shooter and stuff like that, and Matt was with us, and
I carried some stuff.
you did. You carried my Pelican.
And side note, that like this week that weekend turned into like one of my favorite weekends of all time, just because of what she was talking about, the clients and stuff like that. But then having one of your best buds filming alongside you, it's like it was really
fun.
special weekend.
And eat in New Orleans, like
Oh yeah, we ate so much.
ate like crazy. Oh,
Rachel was really jealous.
I know. I would. That's the only way it could have been a better trip if she was there.
The only saving grace for me is that she doesn't like crawfish very much, and we were consuming half our weight in crawfish.
Literally
that weekend.
eating it for breakfast.
Every
literally. Yeah.
But yeah, so I would say if you're going into it, you should probably have at least an assist.
Yeah, for
if
sure.
you're that far along, because it affects everybody, honestly. Like,
Oh, yeah,
because like
for
even
sure.
for us as destination filmmakers,
Yeah.
it's like, dude, I can only carry so much, you know.
You only have so many arms,
Right. And
Yeah.
so it's like, and for me, I don't want Elaine to touch anything. Like, I want her to be as comfortable as possible.
And I've seen the gear that y'all bring and the way that you're transporting said gear, and you could lighten the load a little bit there.
We definitely
talked
could.
about
We've
that.
been looking at it. We're going to need about, $500,000 more
No,
to meet
we won't.
Matt's
Please tell
Matt's
them that.
standards of weight. No, we definitely do. But like, it's all stuff that we're really big on not going into debt on our business. So as long as it doesn't take us into debt, like, we'll purchase gear. But we've been on
It's
our
also
gear for so
time.
long,
Yeah. I feel like it's also time. Like, and we have like our little hacks, like, and you'll see this in the BTS where we cover like our light sticks with fabric covers and stuff, because they take so much damage in our, sticks case bouncing around and stuff. And so to add that extra,
it's a cheap upgrade.
finesse, we cover our sticks with like light pole covers, whatever they are,
Well,
fabric covers.
They're pipe and drape pull covers.
And so that like covers up some of the dings and stuff, but it is time to just like find solutions that are smaller, so we're not carrying around that huge golf case. Yeah.
If you're wondering what the heck they're talking about, they have a SKB hard golf case, which I have recommended in the past before. And essentially, you buy a hard golf bag and you put all your tripods and gear inside it, because to an airline, they're very used to seeing a golf case. So they know how to handle it. They're not weirded out by it. And not many people are necessarily going to want to steal it either because they're like, oh, golf clubs, those are heavy and it'd be a pain. So they don't want any of your stuff, which is nice. The con is that the case on its own is already like 20 pounds. And then you're adding all of your heavy junk to it, and it gets hefty quickly.
59 pounds every single time.
59?
Every time.
Yeah. So we just need to find a way to fit into a large suitcase, which I've been an advocate for since we got that SKB case. Not that I'm I sound like a little bitter about it. I'm not. It's just, you know what? Here, I know what the turning point was.
She's not bitter.
I know what the turning point was.
She's still
for
going
me
on
in
it,
this
so.
SKB case. It was when we started traveling with Winnie. When she started coming to weddings with us, because now we can no longer just fit all of our gear into the boot of the car. Like we used to just like whatever, lay down the seat, throw in the SKB case, all of our other gear, and me and Kaleb are up front like vibing. But once we started bringing Winnie with us, it was her and an additional, typically like my mom or a nanny or someone. And then it's like, okay, now this means like a way bigger car, because now I have to fit this SKB case like somehow in the boot or trunk of the car. So it's been inconvenient really since we've been carrying a tiny person with us to all these weddings. So just get ahead of it. Just get it. Just
Definitely get ahead of it. That's the point of everything.
Going back to like being pregnant while filming weddings, I have not been pregnant personally, but being married to Rachel, who's been pregnant twice, I do have this memory of filming a wedding for her. I think it was with her. We were filming a wedding and she was 6 months plus pregnant, 7 months pregnant, like toward the end. And she's like, I need this baby out of me. And I remember we had a BTS shooter come along to film the wedding with us. And there's moments where it's like me filming, like getting this shot, looking really focused, and her in the background making these grimacing faces, just like rubbing her belly, like, surviving. And I'm like, yep, there she is.
Literally surviving. You're probably seeing it in this podcast, like me just like, jumping or shifting around. Yeah, it's like, I know some women find it magical. I'm not one of those women.
Yeah, I have relatives, and one of my relatives like, oh, I love being pregnant.
No.
It's great. I love how my body feels in this time. I've got 4 kids. I'm like,
no.
Cool. Good for, I love you. You're fantastic. Actually, it's one of like my favorite relatives. But I'm like, that's not the way that my wife feels about that.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I love babies. I don't like this part. Winnie has been like the most like amazing gift, and hasn't like, not only is she a good baby, but I feel like even like our films have changed and gotten better since having her around, because you just have like a different perspective when you step into that role of parenthood. But for us, just the process of getting there is like I could have just skipped that.
Kaleb, you can tell me if this has happened to you, but having especially 2 daughters now, but after Leah, my first, was born, I get those father-daughter dances now. I'm filming that, and it just hits me, and I'm like, my baby, it'll soon be me and her. Oh, man, I'll be like, butterfly kisses. This is it. It's hitting me. Like, oh, man, I am such a softie now, and I will cry.
Oh, I cry all the time, man.
It's so many things.
I never used to cry.
No, Kaleb would never.
When did you last cry? What was your last tear-shedding moment?
Oh, it's probably a TV show. It was probably like a Disney movie or something like random.
I'll tell you my proudest crying moment was watching, I think it was Fast and Furious 8 or 7.
Hold on. What?
Yeah, it was after Paul Walker died. It was the Fast and Furious movie after Paul Walker died.
What you're saying there.
And the movie ends with, they've kind of brought him back using movie magic to show him, give him sort of a send-off. And Vin Diesel's like, until the next drive, old friend. And they're looking at each other in their cars, and they turn off in different directions and drive off.
Yeah.
I think I was watching it on Netflix or Amazon, something. And I remember just weeping in that moment. Just like I was alone in our office, just crying to myself, just big tears, like losing it, just sobbing. And Rachel came in and she's like, "What is wrong with you?"
I would be very concerned if I ever watched.
I mean, that kind of happened with Chadwick. Whenever we watched Wakanda Forever,
Oh,
I mean, it happened to
goodness
everybody in the theater.
That was everybody.
And
Yep.
they left the silence too. So everybody's like,
that movie with like they edited that so well. The way they did that, I was like, this is incredible.
and then like in the like halfway through the film or something, like they have the mural on the wall of him, and I was just like, oh man, like they'll get you. They'll get you.
I sobbed all the way through that movie.
And then at the end, with his son Toussaint.
Hey! Some people may not have seen this.
Spoiler
If
there.
you
Spoilers.
haven't seen it by now,
True,
Too
but
bad. Sorry about that.
Oh, you didn't give too much away. Still go see it.
It's quite good. Quite good.
Yeah.
But even to this day, if I hear that song, like "It's been a long time without you, my friend," like I will.
Fast and Furious 8.
I've been in the song. Like I've been in the car, just like Rachel's like, "You okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm okay." This is Paul Walker. I miss him. She's like, "You didn't follow much." I'm like, I've watched a lot of it. I've watched a lot of Fast and Furious movies. Okay, and it's all about family and it's important. Okay, it's tough. God, it's so soft now. Such a crier. Any moment.
Kids will do that. Kids will do that for sure.
Very true. God. Oh well. I'm glad we've held it together this time. That's what's important here.
yeah. If you ever catch Matt and I crying together, something's gone terribly.
Chadwick.
Yeah.
We're both just
Bolly!
That'll be it.
Damn you!
That'll be it.
That would be a terrifying moment for me. I'm not even gonna.
You just like Homer Simpson back into the bushes.
I know.
It's like, nope, I
Oh, no.
gotta steel myself against this. Hold on to it.
Matt, what do you think is next for the wedding film industry?
Ooh, wowee. Well, I guess we're gonna book in this podcast with Justin Porter, baby. Here we go, bringing it back. Now, and I've talked to him about this. I do think that he is going to set off a trend of people chasing this sort of reality TV style of wedding, where he's pursuing more audio and more of those reactions and moments and things like that. But
In real time, yeah.
yes.
For sure.
But what I've told him about it, and what I think is going to make him very difficult to copy, is the amount of work required to do it well.
Right.
It is a very high bar, which makes it good. And that's why you can do something, because whenever you can do something well and you can charge a great amount for it, then people will pay it.
Yeah.
But I think there's going to be a lot of copycats in the next couple of years for that. And I'm just glad that that's a trend that I actually am excited for and think is really cool, because the amount of people that were like, crash zooms and whooshes, baby, this is going to be it. We're doing it. And I'm like, oh, please get away from this. Thank you. It's just killing me. Yep. We've moved away from that. I think that we went through a period of minimalism with gear where people are like, oh, you got to just film just with the camera, nothing else. And I'm like, you can use a gimbal a little bit. It's okay. Like, I don't need it to be that shaky. We can bring it back a bit.
Right.
And
Context. Too.
we're getting there. We're getting there. I do think, like, as a whole, wedding filmmaking is improving, and seeing things like, oh, people can buy 10-bit cameras now. The colors do look significantly better and the dynamic range is significantly better. But that also is the amount of people that I'm like, well, you still can get that white balance right, though. We're still way off there. Right. Okay.
Yeah. Can you get it done with an A7S II?
Exactly. Yeah. And it's tough. So we're getting there. But have y'all seen any other trends? I know that Elaine does not watch many wedding videos. She is insulated.
I can tell you what I'd like to see. I mean, I watch a few, and the few that I watch are typically like people that I'm in a mentoring relationship with, you know, either directly being mentored by, like I'll watch their films because I can actually have like educated conversations with them about it, or like people that I'm mentoring like on the editing side. Like I'm very intentional about watching everything that they do so that I can speak authentically into their business and what I'm seeing. But I can tell you my hope, like what my hope for the wedding industry is like, because I do think there was like a season, and we even did it ourselves like early on in our business, where it was like all about the tricks and like all about like pushing the envelope and doing like weird transitions. And I think COVID really shifts things for people where it's like, yo, at the end of the day, like, I just want to be with my people and celebrate with my people.
What's important for sure.
And like, there was, this Zoom focus on like the things that actually hold value. And so I know just in our work, like, I'm like hyper focused and aware on that, even as I'm shooting on the wedding day. It was so interesting because in New Orleans, I felt like this extra accountability having you shoot over my shoulder. Because I was like constantly thinking like, okay, if Matt was to ask me a question or if he's narrating this, like what answer would I give to why I'm shooting this? You know, why I'm shooting it this way? Why am I using this lens? Like,
what do you got there? What are you doing over there?
What am I anticipating in this moment? Like all those things kind of point back to the fact that like, I just want to capture things that people are going to value in a year from now, 5, 10, 15, and 20. Hopefully, you know, so, and I'm starting to see that, in general, just in films. And again, even what Justin is doing, like whether you're pushing the envelope or not, like it's kind of going back to that core thing of like what's important to people. You know, how do you craft the story and weave the story in a means that your viewer is engaged and connected, even though they may or may not know the main characters. So.
And like you said what's important to your client, is that what you said, client or to your people? But I think it's specific to the person, because like for us, we have our clients are never alike. I don't think we have one client that's been ever alike.
But I do think there are like these core values that everyone can understand and connect with, you know?
No, because I feel like
this is why I'm the editor.
Yeah, well, no, I understand what you're saying, but I think that is true to you.
Well, what's true to you then? Oh gosh,
no. I'm sorry. True, like I was just talking in the context because you were from your perspective. I'm saying true for us, that is, but not necessarily for Justin Porter. Like the values change. It's like a different company. The values are different in how they serve their client.
Sure,
and what their client wants.
And like human values. That's the piece. Human. Like I want our films as an industry just to be more human, to reflect the human experience. Like I think about like we did a wedding that got rained on like it like poured cats and dogs on their ceremony. No one saw it coming so badly that everyone had to move inside. For most like bride and grooms, that would be like a disaster. You know what I'm saying? Our particular couple embraced it, and it was like ended up being like the most incredible moment. Like the whole film is like built on like this analogy of like rock and water. Like it was in his vows. No one knew like he was going to talk about water in his vows, and you know. But one of the comments that someone said on the post was like, this so beautifully displays the human experience. You know, like here we are on a wedding day. You have 300 guests, like all like dressed to the T in their funky formal attire, and everyone gets soaking wet at the same time. And rather than just like having this meltdown moment, it's like a moment of joy and acceptance. And yeah, it was like kind of crazy moving it inside. And yeah, like we had to reset, and it was like went from like a sit down wedding to standing room only. But there was like, that's the human experience. It's like beautiful and brutal at the same time. And so I think I would just like to see more wedding films accept that.
Yeah. What do you say after that?
And I'm going to go back here a little bit because something you said earlier really stuck with me here and all, because that was a really good monologue and I cannot really top that.
Right.
But what I loved, or what you said earlier, was that you're thinking about your films in the context of 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. And I think having that sort of long horizon and not getting bogged down with, oh, well, a certain style, or I got to hit these moments, or it has to like be really cool and really exciting right now in this moment. Because I remember watching films 10 years ago now and thinking, oh, this is so cool and I love how they did this moment, and now I go back and watch them and I'm like, oh gosh, why did I like that? And it's funny because I had a mentor back then that was not a wedding videographer but a filmmaker that had been doing it for many more years, decades longer than I had been. And I remember showing him one of these trendy wedding videos, and he immediately, within the first 10 seconds, like, oh, no, I hate it. Like, he saw literally 5 seconds of it. He's like, no, I don't like that at all. And I was like, but dude, look at it. It's so neat. And they have this moment. And he's like, no, that's terrible. And he knew. He doesn't film weddings. He doesn't know, but he knew.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Whenever you talk about like legacy, and I think that's what you're talking about, like where the 5 to 10, the whatever, I was
that 5 to 10 whatever thing she was talking about. That
whenever I was reading this like excerpt or something like that, and it was talking about a high percentage of people not ever leaving a legacy just in their lives. And I think that's something unique that we get to do, and I think that's why we value it so much, looking forward to 5 to 10 years past the wedding day. Like, what we get to do is give people their legacy on film, but we produce that. So that's kind of like a part of our legacy. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, are you having Braxton Hicks? Or are you just disagreeing with me? Okay, she just got kicked.
I really thought you were farting.
Sorry.
Which was fine. That was the same face I make, and I was like, there she goes. That's fine. Mike ain't gonna pick that up. We're good.
Usually whenever I say something stupid, Elaine makes that face.
Okay.
So I was like, oh.
Sorry. No, you're fine.
She's like, where you going with this, hun?
You're fine.
To that point, like, I think it's very important that us as wedding filmmakers understand the legacy part of producing content for people. So it's like, to your point, that person who's not in the wedding film industry, that's kind of our target audience, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, why aren't we producing something for them? And that's why I said, like, the clients who we are getting, even the one that you were just talking about, like, they're our people. They found us to produce a legacy film for them. And so, like, people who want Justin Porter are going to go and find Justin Porter. If those people come to us, I'm going to say, no, you need to go to Justin Porter. Like, that's who I'm not going to serve you as well as him, you know? So, anyway.
Totally.
And I've told a lot of wedding filmmakers, especially newer ones, because they say, well, like, I need to take all these weddings. I need the money. And I'm like, hey, like, when you're going to start, especially you're bootstrapping it, take those weddings. Like, listen, I don't love ballroom weddings, but you need that money. You take that money, you take that wedding, and then you use it to build your portfolio. And that way you can get your gear and get stuff better.
Totally.
But at the same time, like, once you are more established, you're doing yourselves and your clients a disservice if you're taking weddings that you don't want to film.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Sure. There's power in saying no, you know, but at first you're going to be doing a lot of work. There's not a whole lot of room for no at the beginning. And then, like, and I feel like everybody knows when that happens, like when that space happens. It's different for everyone. For us, I think it was like by year 2, we were like, we should have said no to a lot of this. And then we adjusted for year 3. And a lot of, like, I think our style came in year 3 because, like, our clientele was a little bit more curated and a little bit more curated, you know, over time. But at the beginning, please just get the work.
I'm amazed y'all were already figuring out by year 2. It took me like 5 years to start figuring things out. I was struggling.
Yeah.
But you have to think too, like, and I was talking to Nick about Nick Miller today about this, of like, he was saying, well, you know, I don't know. It's just, you know, we're doing this thing. We're trying to make things happen. And, like, I just feel some type of imposter syndrome. And I was like, no, dude, like, how long have you been filming weddings? I was like, you've been putting in the work. You are an authority in this now because you've already done the work. So it's like, we had been doing the work from like I was to go Disney, like the guest relations, because we worked at Disney. So we had audio chops. We knew how to take care of clients, and we had to figure out the filming part. So it's like everything that you do affects how you're going to produce films for people. And so like, you've been doing the work. I feel like that's how we got so quick into knowing what we wanted in how we film. And
I tell a lot of new filmmakers that a lot of it comes down to, because they're telling me, well, what should I do and how can I improve? And I'm like, a lot of it comes down to you keep filming weddings, and you need to do it, and you need to film a lot of them, and then you're going to realize, oh, this is what I like, this is what I dislike, because your style is going to come from that. And you're going to learn what you hate, and then you won't ever film those kind of weddings again. And ta-da, congratulations, you now have a style, which is just, I'm not doing the things I don't like to do anymore.
Totally.
Ta-da.
Yeah, that's how you
now
get your
an
style.
artist.
Why?
Yeah.
Why is it that hard to, like, it's funny thinking about it now. Like, how hard was it to just have that thought process? If I could have known that.
Wish I knew that a long time ago. So I was like, oh man, but like, is it going to really be like my style and my look? Yes, because all art is just, I like this and I don't like this. That, congratulations, you figured it out. And me and Rachel, we've always said, well, I wish we'd always said this, but we figured this out a while ago, and I've said it a lot to other people, so I always say it. As long as you are creatively fulfilled with what you are doing and your clients are happy, there's no rules.
Yeah.
Like, those are the only two rules that matter.
You're not making wedding films for wedding filmmakers. You're
Thankfully.
making them for your client.
That part.
That is very good news. I've said it before. There's no council of wedding filmmakers that is judging your work. Like, how dare you do it this way? Like, no, nobody cares. Just make your videos and it'll be fine.
Amen to that.
So where are we going to eat?
I don't know. I gotta pee. This baby's like tap dancing on my bladder.
Well, on that note,
See you later.
bye.